Hi there. Welcome to our Laserfiche 10.1 webinar. Today we will be demonstrating some of the best new features and benefits of Laserfiche 10.1. That's going to be followed by a Q&A session in which our solution engineers are here to answer your questions about technical issues, functionality, benefits, or anything else you want to know about. My name's Emerson Dameron. I am the marketing manager here at AMI, and I will be your moderator today. Before we get going, just a few minor housekeeping issues. Please make sure to enter your audio PIN if you're dialing in and are not using your computer audio. Also, please mute yourself just in case to avoid background noise. To interact with us, you can raise your virtual hand to ask an audio question by clicking on the little red hand icon on your GoToWebinar control panel. We'll open the lines up for questions at the end of the session. Also, please write your comments and questions throughout the presentation in the Questions tab on your GoToWebinar control panel. Some of our AMI Laserfiche All-Stars are in attendance and will be absolutely happy to help. Feel free to take notes if you wish, but the webinar will be recorded and can be shared later. All right, with us today, as some of you already know, we have Mr. Tom Denton. He will walk us through Laserfiche 10.1 and will answer any questions you have about document control, business process optimization, and anything else you'd like to know about. Be sure to stay tuned at the end as well. We'll have several exclusive special offers just for you, so don't tell anyone. That's going to be our secret. Before we get moving, we're going to take a quick survey. Which version of Laserfiche are you currently using? Looks like we have a few 10s, some 9s. 9s are ahead right now. 9 is leading the pack at 40%. Oh, 8 is creeping up from behind. 10 is at 17%, and No Clue is at 23%. All right, so our results are 21% of you are on 8, 29% are on Laserfiche 9, 21% are already on 10, 29% have no clue. And that's totally okay because we're going to be sharing some useful information about Laserfiche 10 today. So, moving along. We also have B in attendance today. She is not going to be speaking, but she is going to be on the chat. B is our new account manager here and is managing quite a few of our accounts. She's been with us for almost 3 months now, and you will see her on the chat, and she can help you out with any issues that you may have. There's B right there. And some of you have already met her, some of you have spoken on the phone, and you may have an incentive to reach out to her for some more information when you hear about some of the offers that we have. Moving along, as I mentioned, we also have Tom Denton on the webinar. Tom is one of our account managers, and he is going to show us some of the most exciting benefits and features that are in the new Laserfiche. And Tom, ceremonial handoff. I will now give the floor to you.
All righty. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I am looking forward to driving this new Laserfiche 10.1 vehicle. Hold on tight. I hope to show you all of the features, the new horsepower, the new handling, the new feature sets, the genuine Corinthian leather, all of those things in the context of a human capital management use case. So rather than just have one of the smart guys show you all of the features in a vacuum, I'm actually going to take you through a demonstration of a real use case and a life cycle in HR and try to demonstrate the new feature sets and capabilities as we go along. Now, you might say, well, wait a second, I don't use Laserfiche in HR. What a bummer. This isn't going to apply to me. I need you to use your imagination a little bit. Just because we might be on the Autobahn, it doesn't mean you can't use this vehicle on the 405. Or maybe I should say PCH, you know, on a Sunday morning about 5 a.m. So use your imagination about what you see today so that you can envision how you might be able to squeeze innovation and efficiency out of your business processes. All right, so I'm going to begin with a form. Laserfiche Forms is one of our most popular capture tools as we go along. Nowadays, we're seeing customers and their employees, as well as our customers and customers, using forms to capture and to fill out documentation to put into their repository. So, as I said, this particular demonstration is going to be around HR and human capital. But I want you to get an overview of what we're going to see before I get started. So this is going to be a whole life cycle of human capital as it relates to a new employee filling out a job application. So we're going to demonstrate e-forms and the automation of it as it relates to routing forms and integrating specifically with Laserfiche. Now, forms, you know, may not seem, you know, that sexy, but the part about forms that is a huge impact is the fact that every one of these forms is attached to a specific workflow and a function. So it's one thing to have forms or PDFs in digital, but then to have to figure out how to route it. All of that is done, as you'll see. You'll get a chance to see the workflows in Laserfiche and the workflow engine. You're going to see quick fields and the ability, when you do have paper, to automate that process. And we're also going to show you Connector, which is our integration tool that enables the ability to integrate with line of business systems and connect directly to Laserfiche and other systems. So that's sort of an overview of what we're going to see. Let's go ahead and dive in, and I will fill out this job application for solution services. So you see I've got a drop down to choose what I want. Now in this case, I know a couple of people in the audience, so I'm going to play a little word. I'm going to be Jen Mo, and you know who you are, right? So Jen is filling out an application for an account manager. And you'll see there's some pre-populated things here that we've got. So I'm going to use that to go a little bit faster. Now you may have seen over on the edge that we've got something called an FAQ. And that's a new feature that exists inside 10.1, and it's called our social BPM. So what's cool about this is you can actually, if I have some questions about my form, I can pull it up and take a look and get most of my common questions answered right there on a very specific FAQ related to this form. But not only that, this could also be a chat. It could enable somebody to actually speak to an applicant in real time. It could also be not static like this FAQ, but it could be dynamic, where information is constantly added to the system from a knowledge base, and that's how Laserfiche Answers actually works. So that's very cool. We're excited about that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. You see a drop down for the degree. My degree's in business, or Jen's degree is in business, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was, but let's just say Jen graduated in 2000. Okay. Whoops. First pilot error of the day. All right. Whoops. So I did this on purpose to show you that it's not going to allow you to fill out anything on the form that's not going to be relevant and consistent with the fields in Laserfiche. So we know we spend an awful lot of time in data cleaning and such to make sure that the information fits properly. And so the form is going to allow us to do that. This example shows you how I can upload information directly in. So it's another great example of capture tool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sign it. Now I've got two options. I can sign it. That looks nice. Or I can actually type it, or I can draw it. And use that as my signature. So I filled out the application. Let me send it in. And the system tells me that it's in. So terrific. So I can forget about it. Now, the cool thing about forms, as I said, is every specific business process has a specific track. And so what we've done is we've integrated this with our email. So you'll see in just a few seconds, Riley Recruiter gets an email that Jen has sent an application and he's received it. And so in the email, it states that he can directly link. And you'll notice that all of the metadata has been captured on the email. So Jen's already filled all of this information out for us right off of the form. So Riley's going to jump on it. And by the way, know that he can do this in multiple ways, right? So at the moment, I'm on a laptop, and he could also be on mobile. Really, you've got access via security anytime, anywhere. So Riley's going to take a look at this new application that came in, and you're going to notice a couple of things as you see this. For instance, this particular form has an audit trail on the right. So we know exactly when it started, and we know exactly what step it's in right now. And so it's crucial with records that we keep track of them, compliance requirements certainly, but the life cycle of a record is important too. So every step and audit trail of that record is often important, and you have that in forms. So Riley's going to look over this application. Looks good. In fact, he's going to make a note, and he's going to approve it. All right. So I'm going to see what happens next. So I want to tell you a couple of things while we're waiting for the next email to come over. As you can see, I'm using one Outlook account for multiple people. So I don't want that to confuse you. Basically, Riley received an email, and now Riley's approval, he vetted the applicant, and now his approval generates another email to Map Manager. Now, Map Manager, you'll see he's got a couple of options. What you see here in the attachment is actually the thick client. If I open that, I'm going to open up the thick client with Laserfiche. But this demo is really about web access. We see web access as the interface of the future. There may be times where you want to stay on the thick client for some particular reasons, but web access has really been updated and the speed is fantastic, and there's very few reasons to use the thick client anymore. We can use the thin client and web access for virtually everything. So let me click on that, and I'm going to get security, and most of you may already have Active Directory for your security. In this demo environment, I don't, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in as Map Manager. Now, it takes me directly to that application, so that link is not going to confuse me. It's going to take me right where I need to go. And some things that we want to see about this application are, for one thing, check this out. The application number has been added, so we keep a running number of a running count of the applications, and so we add one every time from a database. You'll see now that the template is filled out. So all of the information from Jen's application is now on the template. And I want to back out just for a second and show you the interface for 10.1. So let me return to folders. And now you're going to see the view for Map Manager. So Matt's security is human resources only, but you'll see in the left, we still have a folder structure. And as I scroll down, I'm going to see the employees. I'm going to see any incoming. I'm going to see onboarding. And what do you know? In new applicant is Jen Mo's folder. So when Jen filled out that application and it was vetted by Riley Recruiter, when he accepted it, it turned into a new application. So I can also click on Jen's folder and I can see both the application as well as the resume that she uploaded. So let me go into that application again. This will look familiar. And even though the look and feel is different, and I will admit I was a little bit unsure about it, having spent so long in the original client. It took me a little while, but just a little while, and I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so you guys will get it a lot faster than I will. So you see the cool stuff that you have just like in the original interface. So I can highlight something, I can put a sticky note here, and I noticed that Jen came in over the website. So I want to make a note of that. And I can do all of the same things that I did in Paper and Laserfiche. All right, so let's look at the template again. This metadata is going to tell us everything about the form, the fields I've told you a little about, but let's look at annotations. So if we do use annotations, we don't have to scroll over the document. We can look right here in annotations and see if there was any notes added. And check this out. If I go to more, I'm going to see a business process. So we've been talking to you all about workflow for a long time, but business processes are awesome. right? Because this is going to show us the entire process that's in place, and I know where I'm at, where it started, and where I'm at now. I'm at manager approval. I can also see some KPIs. I know how long it's taken, this particular process, and how it relates to the overall. And this is my favorite. What am I supposed to do? I don't know if you guys ever have a situation like that. You've got a few things open on your desktop and you're like, what was I supposed to do? Well, this one tells me exactly what to do. So I'm at manager approval, and what I've got to do is review this applicant and select either approve or reject. That's right. So Jen looks great to me. So I'm going to move her from screened, which is what Riley did, to approved, and save it. All right. So let's see what happens next. Workflow beat me. So when Matt approved it, the system did a couple of things. It looked at a calendar and determined, hey, let's set a schedule for Jen to come in for an interview 6:30. Now, of course, Matt can change that if he likes, but he's got a placeholder. Let's say that works perfectly for him, and this could even have gone out to Jen, as a matter of fact. So again, I've got the opportunity to have this information at my fingertips. So when Jen comes in for the interview, I've also got standard interview questions. So these interview questions are specific to the account manager position. And so everybody that I'm interviewing, I get to review all the same things in the same time, and I don't have to spend an awful lot of time figuring out where am I and what am I doing next. So let's say I had a terrific interview with Jen and she answered the questions fantastically, and I want to get her on board just as quickly as possible. So I'm going to move Jen's status from approved to offer made and save out of it. All right. With me so far? We should turn somebody on so somebody can tell me, no, stop.
You're doing wonderful, Tom.
Oh, that's what I needed. Thank you.
We love you.
Oh, gosh, thank you. Emerson, I knew I could count on you. It's me and this workflow. There's me and this workflow engine here. I'm not sure if I'm speaking to an empty choir.
Yeah, if you have any questions for Tom, you can use our chat window over on your control panel as he goes. We also have a Q&A period at the end.
Now, Hector, don't try to trip me up with one of your jokes, okay? Because you know that'll completely throw me off. No funny business. All right, so look at this. Who got this email? Well, Jen got it, right? So the system actually sent a letter, a job offer out to Jen, and it's got all of the pertinent information, including the job offer. So I get to take a look at the job offer, and Jen looks it over. Now, again, keep in mind, I mean, we would love to keep everything digital from beginning to end. Our word of the day is digitization at origination, right? So if we can help, eliminate scanning and help you go digital from the beginning, that's the benefit. However, even though we're the paperless company, we understand that we get all kinds of documents. So in this case, Jen could do a number of different things. She could print this and sign it and scan it and send it back. We could also utilize our digital signatures capabilities. She could sign it and bring it in and hand it to Matt. There's a number of different things that she can do. So let's pretend that she hands it to Matt. All right, so Matt is going to go to the new folder, and as you'll notice, I know that was subtle. My thumbs sometimes get carried away. But did anybody notice that we don't have Jen Moe under new applicant anymore? We have her under consideration, right? So there's Jen's folder, and when Matt sees her, he receives now the job offer, the original job offer, and he's now received the signed job offer. So he can just sign that, he can scan that right into her folder, or email, drag and drop right into the folder. But the important thing is the deal's done. Jen's an employee, so I need to change her status right here. I'm going to make her hired, and let me save that. And now let's see what happens. All right, so the first email we get is an email to a new party. It's the IT department, because every new hire has to go through IT. How many times has a new employee started without a laptop, or not added to Active Directory, or doesn't have an email account, and the first day they're lost doing all of those details. So IT, as soon as that offer letter is accepted and she's hired, IT gets the first email to get all of this stuff ready. The second is an open enrollment. So you can imagine all of the new onboarding documentation that takes place. So we've been able to automate the redundant process of onboarding, and this is an example. So this email has gone to Jen, and she can click on it, and she's going to go right into a benefits enrollment form. You'll see that her name is filled out, her position is filled out, her phone number is filled out, and all she needs to do is to determine her choices. Again, this is a dynamic form, so if she doesn't want something, we don't cloud it with all of the details. But if she does want something, the new place will pop right up. All right, so I'm going to also mention again social BPM. Here's another example of a form with social BPM, so questions and FAQs can be handled, and all kinds of very cool stuff. We have, if you've been on Laserfiche Answers, you know exactly how cool that is, and how the whole community communicates about different things that come up, and those things are published dynamically so that we've got an ongoing, real-time collateral of information to pull from relevant to specific topics. So that's the power of BPM. All right, so where was I? Oh yeah, Jen is signing this, and she is going to submit her benefits package. All right, done. Now there was another email, wasn't there? Oh, yep, there sure was. So here's another big example of HR. So you can imagine, you know, the onboarding of dozens of employees, for instance, involves a lot of different paperwork. And so we've automated all of that, including the performance review. So this email went to Map Manager, and he's notified that in 90 days, Jen's going to be at her probationary period. So let's pretend Jen is at that period, and the manager is going to walk through and give her an appraisal. You notice over to the right side, everything is there for the audit trail. So we can see it in real time, and Jen has just been terrific. All right, so I'm going to fill that in, and I'm going to submit it. All right. So let's see what happens next. We've got a couple of things that have taken place. And one of those is the manager also has to, oh, there's Jen's email. So Jen just generated, or an email was generated to Jen about her her performance review. So she's got to sign off on that, so it goes directly to her, and she's happy with the review. So she's going to accept that, and that's going to go into her permanent record. Okay. Now, let's go back to Map Manager for just a second. And I know there's a lot of moving parts, but it's all going to come together in the end. So open enrollment has taken place, and Jen has filled out her information, but of course, Map Manager has got to look it over. So he has a task in Laserfiche form. So there's two things that he's going to be looking at. One is in Laserfiche, he's got his incoming folders, and in Forms, he's got his daily tasks. So in his daily tasks, he has Jen's enrollment, and he's satisfied with all of that. And so he's going to make a comment and approve her selections. Okay, and that takes it out of his task. Cool, right? All right. I always do that once each demo. Okay. And I've already done that. So let's step back for just a second. And we've hired Jen. We've onboarded her. And let me show you something new and cool. So we talked about connector. We realized there are tons of line of business systems out there today. In HR, it might be an HRIS system. In the police department, it might be a case management system. In accounting, it might be an accounting system or an ERP system. So we recognize that we're not alone in this world, and really Agile ECM is all about the ability to integrate with different line of business systems, but be a centralized repository for the documents and for processes. So here's an example of an HRIS system. So it's just a basic access database, for instance, and I am on the HR looking through some employees, and there's a particular employee that I'm looking for. It's Michelle Cooper, so I'm on Michelle. So rather than going into Laserfiche and finding something, having the integration with the line of business system allows me to pull any documents related to Michelle directly from my line of business system. But that's not all it does. So down here, you're going to see connector, and you'll see a few different things that we've got profiles for. But this is so simple. It's, if I could do it, anybody could do it, right? So it's a profile creation wizard. So basically, I've got the ability to search for documents. I can assign templates and fields. I can import pages or documents. I can scan documents or pages. All of these things I can do, and you'd ask, well, why would you do that? Well, oftentimes inside my line of business system is some information that I may not have in Laserfiche. So rather than re-indexing that, I want to work together with that. I want to repurpose that information that I have and be more effective. So all of that is available now with Connector. It's very cool. So I'm just going to show you a pretty simple example. I'm looking for Michelle Cooper. I don't want to go into Laserfiche on my own. I'm just going to click this button and log in. Again, you wouldn't do this if you were on Active Directory, but as simple as that now, it's opened up Laserfiche and it's done a search, and in milliseconds, I have the resume I was looking for. Very cool, right? So you can do that with lots of different accounting systems, almost anything you can imagine, including you can do it with Outlook. You can set up these profiles to your heart's content, and you can go both ways in many ways, if you know what I mean. All right, so this is actually the thick client, maybe something that you're more familiar with, but that's an example of connector integrating with Laserfiche. Cool, right? Emerson, anyone? Anyone?
Very cool.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, so how are we doing on time? You know, I think we're doing pretty good. I got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, we should be
okay,
right on schedule.
Oh, we're doing all right? All right. Okay, so we have not forgotten paper. AMI is the paperless company, and as you know, we do a lot of scanning for a lot of you, but we also show you how to do it. So in the event that there is scanning to be done, you know you can scan right into your folders and you can do those one-offs, and that's great. But let's say you've got a backlog or you've got significant volumes of paper coming in. We want to show you how to do that fast, because if you've ever experienced scanning with a multifunction device and emailing and trying to re-index, I mean, it's like needles in your eyes, right? So we want to show you a better way. So this is QuickFields, and QuickFields, what's new with QuickFields is it's now running on the server. So it's a workstation application, but it also is being run from the server. So we're really excited about that. We've been asking Laserfiche for that for some time. So in this QuickFields session, I have 4 examples, right? So we have invoices and vendors and applications, so I can bundle all of these together. But today I think I'm going to do, let's say, W4s. So I'm going to be scanning in a bunch of W4s for my new hires. So I'm not going to get too deep, but this is sort of the secret sauce. Under the hood, I'm going to see exactly what the process is, and I've got first page identification, processing, zone OCR. So this is how the magic is done. So I don't have a scanner connected, but I'm pointing at some TIFFs that I had scanned from an MFP that are in this folder. So I'm just going to hit scan and bring those W4s over. So you'll see them coming. Here they come. And now the next thing a QuickFields operator is going to do is he's actually going to do a quick QC to make sure everything's legible. You'll see that using the Zone OCR and technology, we've been able to fill the index fields. So let me just double check that this is in fact Andrew Hall, and it is. So I've got that one, and this one is in fact Courtney Johnson, and it is. And away we go. Now, you're going to see something. You might have noticed that this Social Security number looks a little funky, okay? So let me explain you that in a minute. So I'm satisfied with the QC, and I'm going to go up to this button, and it's going to remind me to store all the documents to the Laserfiche repository. So I'm going to push that and let it go. So wow, real quickly, it did all of that and not only scanned it. Let's see what else it did. Let me open Laserfiche, and you'll see I'm going to open Web Access. And actually, I didn't want that one. I wanted to demonstrate something else for you. Okay, so I've been logged in as Map Manager. Remember, Map Manager was the HR guy, and all he could really see was the HR records or documents. Now I'm going to go in as Ralph Records. Let's see what happens. So as Ralph Records, you probably noticed that these now look like, I don't know, cabinets or banker's boxes, right, where the others look like folders. So the connotation of that is to explain that these are records, right? So we have forms. Until we vet it and bring it into Laserfiche, it becomes a document. And then sometimes we will also create records, And the thing about records is they have these cutoff instructions. So our government customers understand this very well. There's very high compliance about what they keep and what they get rid of. But we're recognizing for more of our customers, record retention is very important because the idea of saving everything forever is not that great a strategy anymore with e-discovery. So managing how to cut off records that are in many different formats is difficult. So let me give you an example. The way employee files, for instance, are organized in a record is they're organized by the document type, because the cutoff for the document type is what is important, not that they're all in one, all of the documents, different types of documents are in one applicant or employee folder, right? So in this case, I'm going to scroll through the employee files and I recognize, okay, let's see about performance reviews. And in the performance review, I scroll down and, well, look at here. There's Jen, and there's her benefit enrollment, for instance. So it created a record, it put it in the right folder, and there is Jen's also performance review, right? So there it is. So you see the transparent records management is very cool. I'm not sure if I'm able to communicate it as well as I should, but here's the thing. This is an ongoing challenge for document management and records managers, because on the one hand, they need to maintain these records according to the document types, but on the other hand, the department heads need to manage these records according to what makes sense to them. And so with Laserfiche, you have the ability to do both. You'll have a shortcut for the employee and the documents within the manager's files, but you'll also have the actual records that are set for cutoff according to those requirements. And so that is really very cool. If I were to look at records, then I would be able to see the specific, if I was actually on a record, I'd be able to see some of the specifics related to those records. Okay, I digress. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about, hey, there's a new folder. And that came at 11:45, which is when I'm supposed to be stopping. And it created a new folder, which was 2016. And in 2016 is all of those W-4s that I just scanned, right? So automagically, it created that 16 folder. It knew exactly where to go, and it sorted itself. Right now, if I look at this Social Security number, because I programmed it with a program matching of 3 digits, a dash, 2 digits, dash, 4 digits, and programmed it to redact, it did that on the fly, in capture, in input. Cool, right? Now, you're wondering, well, how come I could still see it? Well, that's because I'm Ralph's record. So Ralph Records has the security to see it, but if somebody else were to get this document, he would not see that information. Okay, man, we are rocking and rolling here. I'm almost out of breath.
That's what happens when you make the magic happen.
It ain't easy making magic. I'm just saying, right? Okay. All right, I got one more very cool thing, and this could be considered the cherry on top. So let me remember what it was. Oh, yeah, I remember. So let me show you something else about forms. And actually, I want to show it to you in the context of workflow. So when it comes to workflow, I mean, many of these systems require APIs and programming and all of that and high professional services. So we have built, Laserfiche has built Laserfiche with the intent of being something that you can use. You've got all of the support from AMI and from Laserfiche here in Long Beach, but we want you to be able to drive it to its extent. So when you look at the workflow designer, you guys are probably familiar with all of these routings and activities that are pre-built for us, right? So building a workflow is not exactly rocket surgery, but it's not that easy. I mean, you got to know how to kind of line things out, but it's a drag and drop type of situation, right? So that's pretty cool, but I want to show you one even better, right? So before I break something, I'm going to delete that. But this is an example of workflow designer, so you can go in and make some of your own simple processes, and they can be pretty simple. But check this out. In Forms, this is new in 10.1. In Forms, we have something called Business Process Library. I remembered that. I'm not looking at notes. Okay, and so in Business Process Library, I've got a number of different processes set up here, but look at this. I can create a new process, and it asks me, do you have a template that you want to work off of? Well, we've always had that, so that's cool, but Business Process Library, look at this. So in Business Process Library, Laserfiche has pre-built some of the most common business processes that you might use. So let's say, you know, I'm in education. What do we have? Well, I've got a number of different things. Or let's say I'm in HR, since we've been talking about HR. So now, I mean, let's say you want to send out a flu shot registration to everybody, or you want a out-of-office notification, or you want an incident report, or a timesheet process, or a travel and expense, vacation, sick leave. All of these things are pre-built. So all you have to do is hit one, and you're going to see how to download that particular business process into a briefcase that you can bring right into your Laserfiche forms. Is that cool or what? Emerson?
Very neat.
Yeah, neat. So on top of that, you can also, now you're going to want to go through and maybe have us help you make some of the emails and some of the specifics for your organization, but that is really exciting that there are all of those pre-built business processes for you to get started with, either as a novice to get started with, or maybe as an expert and you just want to kind of get some of the redundant stuff done so that you can add on to it. It's all there for you. So that was a mouthful. Hopefully you enjoyed that trip on the Autobahn with me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Emerson. You are too kind. This audience a little tougher than you are, but thank you.
Well, we're going to be... Oh, go ahead.
Let me recap real quick. What we went through is we talked about creating workflows with forms. So you got a chance to see how to automate a process beginning at forms. You got a chance to see the workflow of folders and how using emails as well as folders, we can move these processes along. You got a chance to see quick fields and saw how we can automate that capture. You saw just a hint of connector and how we can connect with virtually any other line of business system. You saw records management and the difference between a record and a document and what we refer to as transparent records management. And last, you saw the business process library. So I think I'm done here.
Thank you, sir.
Emerson?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Tom. Now you've seen the magic happen. You got to know Laserfiche 10 a little bit. We know you have questions, but before we move on to the Q&A, we have another quick survey so we can kind of figure out where you're at. What in particular piques your interest about Laserfiche 10, Laserfiche 10.1? Is it Laserfiche Forms, Laserfiche Workflow, Laserfiche workflow coming in strong. Laserfiche connector or upgrading to Laserfiche 10.1. You could pick all of these that apply. Workflow has a strong edge out of the box. All right, I'm particularly curious about other. Okay, here we go. Laserfiche forms 50%. Half of you are curious about that. Laserfiche workflow is in at 63%, tied with upgrading to Laserfiche 10.1 at 63%, and Laserfiche connector is at 50%. All right. Now we're going to move on to the Q&A. If you have questions, there are a couple of things you can do. You can hit us up in the chat to all. You can also raise your hand. We've already got a few questions in by email, so I'm going to start with some of the preliminary ones. We have first question comes from Trevor, and Trevor asks, how much control do I have over the Laserfiche repository? Tom, any thoughts on that?
You know, we like to say that Laserfiche comes vanilla. So you can basically add any toppings you like. You can have it configured specifically from a folder structure standpoint, exactly the way you like. You can add additional repositories. You can add security so that, you know, certain people can't. The sky's the limit as it relates to the control that you can have over the repository and all of the users' functionality.
Cool. Our second question is from Chantal. Chantal would like to know, how can Laserfiche 10.1 streamline collaboration with members of my team?
That's a great question. You know, I think really the details are how we would want to work with you and really envision something specific. But for instance, you can work with your team and collaborate with your team by utilizing version control in the event that you've got a life cycle of a document and you want other people to make changes and review it, and you want to be working only on one document. That's one example about how you could collaborate. I just kind of showed you an overall business process where people can collaborate back and forth and on a particular business process. So workflow and forms allows you to do that as well. But Chantal, I'd really be interested to know what you have in mind, because I suspect you've got some specific use cases that we might be able to work with you and, you know, draw something up and make it happen.
Cool. We also have a question from Jonathan. Jonathan asks, I work in accounts payable. How will the business process libraries make my life easier?
Well, that's a great one. You know, accounts payable is specific in each case. There are some idiosyncrasies, but the process by and large is virtually the same, right? You're receiving invoices that need to be paid and that need to be verified, and you need to keep all of the backup in one place. And so Business Process Library enables you to actually import a common AP processing type of workflow, and then you get to tweak it specifically to your customers or your company's requirements. For instance, some checks you may be able to approve some payments for a certain amount. So you might want to add, you know, only approve for these people up to $1,000, and you might have a second approval for something over that, or whatever the specifics of your organization. You can then build that into the foundation of the business process library routing and get very specific and deploy it in a lot less time than you would have had to do from scratch.
Awesome. Thank you. If you have any questions that we didn't get to, it's about time to wrap up because we have to do our special offers uh, since you've been with us this far. But I'm going to put an email address in the chat. It's sales@AMIpaperless.com. There it is. Any questions that you have, you can send to us there. And now, the moment that you've been waiting for. Since you've been with us this far, we have some very special exclusive offers just for you. Now that you've seen what Laserfiche 10.1 can do, we're giving you a limited time opportunity to upgrade and take 10% off of the price. So if you're still on 8, if you're still on 9, if you have no clue, and you're ready to get on board with Laserfiche 10.1 and take advantage of this stuff, right now, between now and June 30th, you can take off 10% of the price. This offer does expire at the end of the month, and it's only available to you as a thank you for attending our webinar, so don't tell anyone. Here's how you can get it. Email us at sales@AMIpaperless.com. and let us know you want to upgrade and you want the exclusive webinar discount. If you're already working with Tom or B or any of our other representatives, you can also reach out to them directly. Whatever you do, make sure you get in touch before June 30th to get the 10% discount. That is the last day this deal will be available, so don't wait. Reach out to us today at sales@AMIpaperless.com and get your upgrade. That's not the only special offer we have for you. As a webinar guest, Laserfiche is offering a special promotion for Classic, United, and Team customers and Avante customers upgrading to Rio in the year 2016. It's based on user volume, and it basically amounts to a 15% plus discount. This runs through the end of 2016. Again, give us a shout at sales@AMIpaperless.com, and we'll explain how much money you can save. You're already saving time. Why not save some money? Make it a 1-2. Finally, from now until June 30th, you can get free tickets to Empower 2017. Attending Empower 2017, the Laserfiche conference in Long Beach, California. We'll give you even more opportunities to learn about Laserfiche software, talk to experts, attend classes on topics that interest you, and learn from your peers in industry and regional user groups. All you have to do is leave us a testimonial. Tell us about your experience with AMI and Laserfiche. And there's going to be a special link for that, which is going to go up in the chat. All you have to do is leave us a testimonial, tell us about your experience, and attend Empower 2017 for free. Here's a testimonial that we got through email from Trevor. I can't tell you how much the mood in my office has improved since we got organized with Laserfiche. AMI has been thoughtful and helpful throughout the process, not just in making the decision, but after we became Laserfiche customers. Thank you for everything. That, my friends, is a wonderful testimonial, and you can leave one like that, similar, or just talk about your own experience. The link is on its way up in the chat, and for your trouble, you will receive tickets to Empower 2017. And again, this offer is only available through June 30th, through the end of the month. So that link that's up in the chat right now, web.amipaperless.com/empower-2017-ticket-giveaway is your ticket to the Empower 2017 conference in Long Beach, California. Please only do that if you can attend, because we do have a limited number of these. With that, we'd like to thank you for attending our webinar, for your time. Hopefully we can save you some time now or in the future to reward your investment. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for your participation. please let us know if we can help you with anything. Again, you can email us at sales@amipaperless.com or reach out to your representative. Thank you. We will see you next time. From all of us at
Thanks,
AMI
everybody.
to all of you. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, everybody.